Representative Raja Krishnamoorthi, Democrat of Illinois, joins us now. Congressman, was it Zelenskyy? Was it Europe? Was it Congress? It seems like the president's hands were sort of tied on this.
Yeah, I think it was all of the above. 71% of the American people pushing you to do something in the face of just an incredible barbaric, insidious invasion of Ukraine, I think makes a lot of sense for what the president did today.
Do you think there's any concern at all that our support, as strong as it is right now with this, might wane if gas prices get to $7, $8, $9 a gallon?
I don't know, but I think that it's prudent that the president is releasing millions of barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Oil Reserve and acting in concert with our allies. I think that Putin is banking on Americans caving because gas prices go up. But I think that he's going to be surprised. The American people are not going to cave to this bully.
Let's listen to a little more from the president. He talked about the political fallout indirectly, I guess, of this decision. Here's part of what he said.
The decision today is not without cost here at home. Putin's war is already hurting American families at the gas pump. And with this action, it's going to go up further. I'm going to do everything I can to minimize Putin's price hike here at home.
That's what stood out to me, Congressman, when you said Putin's price hike. Democrats already have an uphill climb here with the midterms approaching and Republicans using inflation and gas prices against Democrats leading up to this. Now you have this. I'm just wondering, the bipartisan nature of this in particular, does that make a difference politically?
I think so. I think that the fact that so many of my Republican colleagues basically urged the White House to do this. Of course, my Democratic colleagues doing the same, I think reflects the sentiment of the American people that we don't want Putin to be able to fund his war effort with oil. And that's what he's doing right now. And so we've got to cut off that source of funding as much as we possibly can.
So what about Poland today offering to give us, the U.S., 28 of these MiG-29s? But then it's up to us to somehow get them into Ukraine. How do we do that, first of all? And is this an escalation?
Well, I think that, as you know, we are overtly supplying the Ukrainians with hundreds of millions of dollars of armaments at this point. And they need a way to protect the skies because they're being pummeled by the Russian Air Force. And so we obviously are not going to go into Ukraine. We're not going to deploy troops. We're not going to put our own fighter jets there. It does make sense to give them the means to protect themselves, and that means fighter jets.
Yeah, in Ramstein, Germany, right, or soon, apparently. Again, the question is, how do we get them there? Let me ask you this. We talked about a Churchill quote last week on the broadcast where he said that you can always count on the Americans to do the right thing after they've tried everything else. Is the right thing here, Congressman, stopping Putin, whatever that takes?
Well, we're not going to deploy our troops. We're not going to, enter into a dangerous escalatory spiral. However, I do think that we should supply the Ukrainians with whatever it takes for them to defend themselves. And as you know, they've mustered a courageous, stiff resistance that has really brought the Russian military to its knees in Ukraine so far. But they need more, and that's why it's appropriate to furnish these fighter jets as well as other surface-to-air systems, missile systems, as needed to protect the skies.
All right, Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi from Illinois, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate the time.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.